Hello dear friends, and I welcome all of you to the International Tax Academy's small info session on ADIT December 2022 examination preparation. And this session is going to be relevant for those ADIT aspirants who are going to take up the examination in December 2022, and also for those examination aspirants who would be taking up exam subsequently, that is in June 2023 and even further attempts. Now, in this short session, I'm going to focus on a very specific issue, and that issue pertains to the study material, and I'm going to focus upon three sub areas or subtopics in the issue of study material. And the first one would be, what is the recommended study material? What is the recommended study material for December 22 examination of ADIT? Secondly, what is the permitted study material? What is permitted? And I'll tell you the import of each of these terms. What is the permitted study material for ADIT December 2022 examination? And then third, that would be my opinion. You can even call this as my suggestion. My suggestion regarding the use of the study material, right? So my opinion. Right? So this short session we're going to focus upon very specific issue, study material, what is recommended, what is permitted, and my opinion regarding this. Right? So let us start. Let me run. I'll keep the phone number as it is because I won't be requiring the complete board. So, study material. Fine. Study material. ADIT December 2022 batch. Okay. So, now the issue pertains to the study material, and I told you that I would be taking up three areas, that is recommended study material, permitted study material, and in my opinion, what should be your strategy. But before that, let me tell you that International Tax Academy, we at International Tax Academy, we focus upon two subjects, that is Principles of International Taxation and Transfer Pricing module. My name is Manoj Nodia, and I am the founder of International Tax Academy as well as a chief ADIT coach. And International Tax Academy has recently completed the first module, that is transfer pricing module. It was a 60 hours course, and that has been completed. And now since last week we have started up with Principles of International Taxation, and the current course is being carried on for Principles of International Taxation. So in this session I'm going to focus upon both these subjects, that is study material for Principles of International Taxation, in short PIT, and as well as transfer pricing module. Fine. Okay. And I'm going to use the authentic. as well as the official, authentic or official, whatever you might call it. I'm going to use, see, you see this? This is ADIT December 2022, ADIT 2022 prospectus that was released earlier in the year by CIOT, that is Chartered Institute of Taxation, that body which conducts ADIT examination. So whatever information regarding the books, study material that I'm going to present to you, that would be from this, and I'll show those pictures and images from this prospectus. So don't worry about that. Okay, so study material required for ADIT December 2022 for PIT, that is Principles of International Taxation, as well as transfer pricing. Fine. So let us go to what is the study material that is recommended. Remember, I told you I would be focusing upon three areas. So recommended, and then permitted. Recommended and permitted. Fine, both for PIT as well as TP. Okay, so here I am. See this again? This is recommended reading list and the subject is PIT. This I have written in block letters. PIT, that's Principles of International Taxation. And if you read this, then you find that for Principles of International Taxation, the ADIT syllabus, ADIT prospectus, that divides the reading, the recommended reading list, into 4 categories. And those 4 categories are, first category is permitted. So now you find the word permitted, right? So recommended has 4 categories, and then the first category is permitted. Fine. Permitted category. Then you have books. Then you have, before books you have essential readings. The third category is books, and then you have periodicals. Fine. So permitted is the first category in the recommended reading list for PIT. The second category is essential readings, then the third category is books, and the fourth category is periodicals. Fine. And now you would understand what is the difference between recommended and permitted. See, recommended includes these 4 categories: permitted category, essential readings, books, and periodicals. And out of these 4 categories, the first category is permitted. Why it is known as permitted? It is known as permitted because I am reading verbatim from this official syllabus, and it says permitted texts. Permitted texts are known as permitted texts, as the candidates may take, quote unquote, candidates may take a copy of the following texts only into the examinations. Right? Candidates may take a copy of the following text only into the examination. And then it gives you how many? It gives you five books. OECD, the first one is OECD BEPS 2015 final reports executive summaries. Second one is OECD Model Tax Convention on Income and Capital 2017 version. Third one is OECD Transfer Pricing Guidance on Financial Transactions, the report which OECD came out with in February 2020. And the fourth one is OECD Transfer Pricing Guidelines 2017 version, and the fifth one would be ITC laden materials on international taxation by Professor Keswan Brand. Fine. So, and again at the end of these 5 books, it mentions very clearly no other texts may be taken into the examination. So, meaning to say, this first category is known as permitted category because you are permitted to take any or all of these 5 books into the examination hall. You are permitted. So, in that sense, ADIT is an open book examination. And because it is an open book examination, you can take any or all of these 5 books into the examination hall. Right? So you are allowed, you are permitted. That is why permitted category. So this is very, very important. And you would find that this contains the base document. The base document, if I have to pick up one document or one book out of these 5 books, then that would be OECD Model Tax Convention. OECD Model Tax Convention on Income and Capital 2017 version. That forms the basis. That forms the base document for Principles of International Taxation. And if you go to the syllabus, that you would find that 50% of the syllabus is directly from tax treaties. That is basically tax treaties. So even there would be other documents that would be required, but you cannot leave that. OECD Model Tax Convention forms the base, the fundamental document for Principles of International Taxation. It is permitted. You can take that. Fine. So apart from these 5 books, nothing is permitted. You might read any of the books. I mean the remaining three category: essential readings, books and periodicals. Then you have essential readings, then you have books, and number of books and essential readings. I'm not going to go through them. Periodicals as well. And there are good books. The Professor Klaus Vogel's book is mentioned, and it's a golden standard as far as tax treaties are concerned. But then it is also it's just a book. It is not permitted. Even if you prepare from that book, you will not be allowed to take that book into examination hall. So meaning to say, OECD Model Tax Convention is recommended. It is also permitted. And if you based your examination preparation upon OECD Model Tax Convention, you would be in a much better position. Fine. So nothing apart from these 5 books is permitted. Fine. So this is as far as PIT is concerned. Now let us go to transfer pricing, and we'll see what happens in transfer pricing. So now this is transfer pricing. See, transfer pricing, and again you have recommended reading list. So recommended reading list for transfer pricing, and then again transfer pricing, the recommended reading list, you have permitted category, and then there are other categories, that is additional category. Fine. Then you have online resources. Then you have case laws. But then again, the first category is permitted. Why permitted? The same reason. See, and again I am reading from this prospectus. Permitted text, candidates may take a copy of the following text only into the examination. TP module. Right. Let us go through the permitted text. Number 1, OECD Model Tax Convention on Income and Capital. OECD Model Tax Convention on Income and Capital 2017 version. The one which is required for PIT. So that is permitted in TP as well. Are you able to see this? There is an overlap in the syllabus. Right? Second, OECD G20 BEPS 2015 final reports, action plan 8 to 10, because they pertain to transfer pricing, aligning TP outcomes with value creation. Action plan 8 intangibles and CCS, 9 risk and capital, and 10 other high risk transactions. Fine. So 8-10 action reports, they are also permitted. Number 3, action G20 OECD BEPS action plan report number 13, because 13 again pertain to TP documentation, so that is also permitted. Number 4, OECD Committee on Fiscal Affairs 2010 report on profit attribution to permanent establishments, very important, that is also permitted. And then you have OECD transfer pricing guidance on financial transactions, it was permitted here as well. February 2020 report, fine, which has ultimately been incorporated into OECD 2022 guidelines as chapter number 10, right? And then in the end, sixth text, that is OECD transfer pricing guidelines 2017 version. Although they have mentioned as permitted text as 2017, but you can, in my opinion, you can very well use 2022 version, which was released earlier this year in January 2022, because between July 2017, when 2017 transfer pricing guidelines were released, and January 2022, OECD had come out with number of reports. For example, the report on financial transactions, then revised guidance on profit split method, then some guidance on HTVIs, annexure was added to chapter number 6, and then some 20 paragraphs were added in chapter number 1 on risk-free and risk-adjusted rate of return. So all those reports you would ultimately have to do. You will have to prepare. But if you go through OECD 2022 guidelines, they contain everything. They contain all the reports which came after 2017 guidelines were released, as well as the 2017 version. So it is absolutely judicious, it is absolutely prudent that you prepare from 2022 guidelines, and that is what International Tax Academy did. We completed the TP module based upon 2022 guidelines, right? Okay. Then you also have as permitted text, so TP guidelines, that is permitted. Then you also have permitted text as UN Model Double Tax Convention 2017 version, UN Practical Manual on TP for Developing Countries 2021, and then ITC International Taxation Material. And again, the same disclaimer at the end, no other texts may be taken into the examination. That's it. So meaning to say, whether it is PIT or whether it is TP, you have a recommended reading list, 4 or 5 categories here and 4 or 5 categories here. But out of those recommended reading lists, whether it is PIT or whether it is TP, you have only one subcategory that is permitted. Why permitted? Because you can take those books which are mentioned in the permitted category here as well as here into the examination hall. So In effect, ADIT, PIT as well as TP, it's an open book examination. It's an open book examination. Why open book? Because you can take any or all of the permitted text into the examination. You can refer while you are preparing for the examination. You can use that. You can use PIT. You can use the base document for PIT would be what? Base document. Again, in my opinion, now coming to my opinion, recommended, permitted in my opinion. And my opinion is not, I'm not building castles in air. My opinion is based upon thorough reading and analysis of previous year ADIT question papers and their suggested answers. So this is also an information for you that ADIT also publishes previous year question papers. It also publishes suggested answers, and then it also publishes candidate scripts. So I mean I'm really thankful to CIOT for publishing all these, because that gives, these three resources are invaluable and they give huge amount of help to the students. So upon analysis, extensive analysis of the previous year question papers, suggested answers as well as candidate script, I have based my opinion that for PIT, OECD Model Tax Convention 2017 becomes the base document, and for TP, the OECD TP Guidelines 2020 2, because I have based my preparation 22, this becomes the base document. This becomes the base document. You might not follow anything else, but you have to follow this. Base your preparation upon this, because as I have told you, only these documents are permitted. If you study from any other document apart from the permitted list, and I've already read out the permitted list in front of you for PIT as well as TP, I'm sorry guys, you might be able to prepare, but then you will not be allowed to take those good books or good material into the examination hall. I'm not going to name any of the books. Fine. Number one. Number two. If you base your preparation upon, my opinion, if you base your preparation upon OECD MTC Model Tax Convention for PIT and TP guidelines for TP guidelines 2022 for TP, mind you, it is not, I mean, you would definitely pass comfortably. You would definitely be able to clear your ADIT examination, TP as well as PIT very, very comfortably. And not only this, you would also be able to score a very good rank if you properly base your preparation upon these two documents. Converse might not be true. I mean, you might be reading some other things, some other documents, some other books, but then again, because whatever you would be able to, you would be preparing, because you will not be allowed to use those in the examination. So again, I will not be able to comment upon that. But yes, definitely, if you go through the examination question papers, the suggested answers, you would find that they are heavily based upon an in-depth understanding of these two documents, PIT and TP. And it's very, very reasonable. Why? Because see, OECD Model Tax Convention 2017, this is a 2017 version, and the first version came out in 1963. So can you imagine 63? I mean, 37 years plus 20, 37 plus 17, that is close to what? 55 years. 55 years of intellectual work by OECD has gone into this document. So this document cannot be replaced by any document. All the other books which might be recommended to you by some other agencies, all those documents are ultimately based upon this document. This can replace anything, everything. No other document, single document can replace this. Similarly for TP guidelines, there are good books of TP, there are good books for TP, but then again, TP guidelines, the first version came out in 1995, in fact 1979, and then it was revised in 1995, and then 1995 you have 2022. Can you imagine the number of years? Intellectual work of 22 plus 5, 27 years. This is so intellectually dense. I can understand this is difficult to read, but then cannot be replaced. So base your preparation on OECD TPG for TPG 2022 for your ADIT TP module and OECD Model Tax Convention for PIT module. Is it clear? Very, very important. You will have to supplement, but then those supplements can also be found from the permitted text. Fine. Apart from these documents, I mean, you can buy anything, you can read anything. That's not an issue. But then again, open book examination, you can open the book, only that book which is permitted. right? Okay, next point. My opinion. Okay, now when you quote, when you're writing an answer, you would make quotations for supporting your answer, for supporting your point of view, because ADIT you have to write, they're basically essays, 25 mark essays, 10 mark essays, 50 mark essays. You have to write, you have to make a logical presentation. So you have to make citations, you have to make quotations. So quotations and citations have, I mean, you would be able to make quotations and citations only when you take these books, because only these books are allowed. So if you remember that, supposing I have gone through article 5 or 5.1 of WhtsApp convention, and I have read the commentaries, so I'll definitely go to for example paragraph number 10, which deals with the issue of fixed place of business. What is the meaning of fixed place of business in permanent establishment? So you will exactly go to the paragraph, you will quote that paragraph. Compared to this, if you would have studied some other book, that book would not be allowed, and then you will not be able to quote. You would be taking this, supposing even if you take this, then because you have not read this book, you will be flipping the pages, and you will not be able to find the relevant paragraph for quotation. So for citation and quotation also, you have to make use of these. This is also a very, very cogent reason. Fine. Further, and in fact, this would be I would say a reason which would be based upon foresight. Just imagine you've managed to pass ADIT, both TP and PIT, and somehow you were able to clear without going through WhtsApp Convention 2017 or even TP guideline. I mean, theoretically possible. Theoretically, everything is possible. But then, as an international tax practitioner, TP or tax treaty, afterwards you would definitely come into contact with the tax authorities of respective countries, tax authorities, even courts. And then when you have to present your argument there, when you have to make your case there, then ultimately you have to present the citation, the authority, the authentic source of information upon which you are basing your argument. And in that case, again, the basic document for international taxation, that is the practice of tax treaties, it is this MTC 2017, and for TP it is TP guidelines. And because you would not have read these documents when you were preparing for ADIT, then again you will face the problem. Conversely, if you base your preparation right now upon these documents, then by the time ADIT is over, you would know these documents like you know the back of your hand. Makes sense? So think short term, think medium term, as well as think long term. Don't get befooled. Base your preparation upon the official permitted texts. As I have mentioned, I have given you all the reasons. So recommended, permitted, and in my opinion. So this was a suggestion. This was a suggestion from my side, from the side of International Tax Academy. I have already told you that International Tax Academy has covered TP module based upon TP guideline 2022, and we are basing our preparation upon PIT upon MTC 2017, reading of the articles, reading of the commentaries, and then even subsequent, then we'll supplement the PIT preparation again from the basic, original, authentic OECD documents. Hope you found this short session informative. Hope you found this short session informative, enlightening, and hope it did clear many of the confusions. Don't spend your money on expensive books. I mean, if you want, you can, but then preparation, apply your mind, and do share this video within your network, especially among the friends who are preparing for ADIT. And I have a YouTube channel, and it has I've started uploading videos on transfer pricing for ADIT, international taxation for ADIT, as well as tax treaties for ADIT. Do consider subscribing to that channel, because I would be coming up with such informative videos on these core areas of international taxation in the near future as well. So thank you. This is for now. Thank you so much, and namaskar.